And Dr. William Forstchen, you remember him, right?
I do remember Dr. William Forstchen. What a swell guy.
I think we got more feedback about him than we have with any guest we've had thus far.
Yeah.
We've had so many people calling us saying, hey, where can I get the book? Where can I get the book? Sometimes I think we need to be on payroll.
Because they're mainly, the comments I got when I was out and about town was how interesting the guy was. You could just sit and just listen to him talk. And, well, that's good because it's a talk show.
That's what I've heard from many people, and I think we have him on the air right now. Let's check and see. Hi, caller. You're on with Mike and Spike.
You guys have really made my morning. I mean, I should record what you've just said and then play it for my boss and my daughter and others.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll send you the file.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you back with us. We're doing really good.
Thanks for asking. How you doing?
It's been incredibly busy since this book came out.
Now
that's good news, though.
Yeah. Better than sitting around with cobwebs and a tumbleweed going in front of you with nothing happening. So tell me, what's the name of the book and what's it all about? And tell us about your life since we last talked to you.
Okay. The name of the book is 1 Second After. It is fiction, but it's based on a really cold, hard reality, which is the threat to our nation that's now poised with what are known as EMP weapons, electromagnetic pulse weapons,
right?
Which some really deranged nations have the capability of using. In particular, my great concern is Iran or North Korea. An EMP is, you take a small nuclear bomb, you loft it up over the center of the United States using a rocket. When it detonates above the Earth's atmosphere, it sets up this horrible cascading effect. It's called the Compton effect. What it does is like a pebble rolling downhill. The radiation burst hits the upper atmosphere and then starts an electrical static discharge buildup.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a lightning bolt hitting next to your house. And this could literally blanket the entire United States and in the process blow out our entire power grid system, our communication system, our transportation infrastructure. In other words, in 1 second, it would throw us back 1,000 years.
Just and all that takes is just one device. Is that what you're telling us?
That's the scary part of it. I mean, okay, I'm old enough that I grew up in the New York City area, and I can remember, duck and cover and get underneath our seats and the great fear of the Cold War in the 50s and 60s, where our image of the end game would be hundreds of missiles going back and forth. Well, things have changed, and not many people are aware of the fact it only takes one missile with one small bomb, not much bigger than a Hiroshima-sized bomb, to actually take down the entire United States by destroying our power grid and our infrastructure. A congressional study done by Congressman Bartlett indicates that the estimated death rate would be 90% of all Americans would be dead in a year.
Wow.
Now, Doctor, I'm thinking, like most people are thinking, well, that couldn't possibly happen because don't we have, like, missile defense shields all around and anybody who flies over the U.S. who we don't know?
Yeah, what happened to Star Wars?
Yeah, can't we just shoot all those guys down? I
wish we could. I always have to emphasize, when talking about this book, the material that I've been handed. This all started with a conversation with my friend Newt Gingrich some years back. I've interviewed a lot of people. Yes, we have a partially in place system, but the only test shots we've done so far are controlled. Remember that satellite that was out of control last year and we shut it down?
Right.
That was something, remember, it took a couple of weeks of planning and calculation to do it right. If an opponent did a surprise launch, gosh, I don't know what I can and can't say. Let's just say there's a high probability that the missile would get through.
But what about all those Patriot missiles we saw over Baghdad knocking down all the Scuds that were coming in? Don't we have that?
Those were short-range, far lower altitude. And remember, post-evaluation of the Patriots used in Israel actually indicated that a significant number had actually missed.
Oh.
This type of strike, the missile that we'd have to nail would be 300 miles up, as compared to a low-level launch where the Scud, I think, went up like 30 or 40 miles and then came back down.
Right.
How does this threat escalate? I know you were talking about Iran. Now that we're seeing that Russia is now courting Cuba and Venezuela.
Great question, and one I wish, during the Cold War, and again, the days of duck and cover and this Armageddon image, we have to realize the Soviets were rationalists. Gorbachev, Brezhnev, and those guys, they did not want a nuclear war. I can jokingly say a little bit, since they were atheists, what good is a world handed back to them that is nothing but smoking ruin?
Sure.
And it was known as mutual assured destruction. But when you're dealing with an opponent such as the leadership in Iran, where your listeners who are familiar with the tenets of the what are known as Shiite Twelvers, these guys want the apocalypse. They actually believe that by destroying the great Satan and bringing about global chaos, that creates the end time and the return of the Mahdi. I mean, this is a wacky regime.
Yeah, we're dealing with an entirely different mindset, I guess. That's the whole thing, is we're having a hard time, because I'm thinking, wouldn't somebody else just want to be alive like I want to be alive? So that mindset is what I think our listeners are probably having a hard time getting their mind around. How about our government? Have they gotten a grasp of that yet?
There's the other scary part of it. I had an interview yesterday where somebody actually accused me of wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I mean, this does sound like a bunch of wacky people at a sci-fi convention saying, beam me up. It has a sci-fi quality to it. So, unfortunately, a lot of people in the House Armed Services Committee glaze over.
Yeah.
They go, no, this can't happen. So what I'd recommend to anyone listening, if you think I'm crazy, just don't call my doctor, but go on Wikipedia and look up electromagnetic pulse for EMP. Go on Google, look it up. You'll see where the Wall Street Journal calls it our number one threat, and nobody's paying attention. Go to thomas.gov. Look up Congressman Bartlett, or go to my website, 1 second after. It's all one word. And from there, you can link in the technical reports. This thing is real, and it's frightening. And, oh, yes, one other thing. If you doubt the sanity of the people we're facing, have you ever heard of FAR-4?
Say again, what is that?
FAR-4.
FAR-4, like far away and for the number?
Okay.
The answer is no, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, you guys are going to freak. All right. Go on YouTube. Type in FAR-4. FARFOUR. All one word.
Okay.
FAR-4 is this nice, plush, Mickey Mouse-looking character for a children's show put out by the Palestinians.
Okay.
All right? In which he extols 3-year-old children to become suicide bombers and kill Jews. And in one episode, he is beaten to death. Imagine you got your little kid, Barney's on, I love you, you love me, and suddenly bang, 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 and Barney's getting shot down.
Oh,
and
my
then
gosh.
your child's being told, the people who killed Barney, now you go out and kill them.
Oh.
Watch it. I'm dead serious.
That's
and then he
sick.
gets replaced by a killer bee whose name is Nahul, Nahoul. And then he gets killed. This is what they're feeding their 3-, 4-, and 5-year-old children.
Wow.
Oh, particularly look up the Nahul episode, Abusing Cats.
Abusing what? Cats?
Yeah. I mean, I'm laughing, but at the same time, I showed this to my college students,
Yeah.
and these kids were just sitting there horrified because this Nahul character is actually teasing and torturing animals, and then he is admonished, but then told, no, that's bad to torture cats, but let's go kill some Jews.
Yeah,
That's good. That's
people,
real good.
I think part of the problem, Bill, is that so many Americans, people they don't even, they're lucky if they go 100 miles from their home. And they don't realize that these people don't rationalize things like we do.
No.
And they don't have the same value for human life. I mean, I'm not saying they're barbaric, not all of them,
I'm
but
saying some of them are.
some of them are.
Yeah.
But they see things quite a bit differently than we do. And the normal, I guess the average American looks at it and they just want to, they want to look at it like, oh, okay, I remember what my pastor said in church this Sunday, and I think we should just love them. Well, that doesn't work because they don't love back,
All right.
Now you take a small nuclear bomb, put a rocket on top of it, underneath it, calibrate it to set off a high EMP burst. And do you want that in the hands of the type of people who are putting out children's programs extolling 3-year-olds to become martyr suicides so that the Mati will return, and then they will dominate the earth?
Amazing. I have seen some of that footage with them indoctrinating the children about that, and it's so gruesome. It's horrible to see that happen.